Russell Fugett, Darrell Reid, I'm Michael Artsis. This is Sports Daily's special edition NFL Draft Show coming to you live from New York City, 48 floors above Radio City in the heart of New York City. Guys, the draft is full steam ahead. Joining us via Skype, by the way, is Gene Fugett. And Gene is in, I believe, Baltimore, Maryland.
Correct.
Is that correct, Gene?
No, it's not about Gene right now. Let me just tell you about the draft and what's going on. The Lions just made a pick that really blows my mind. You talk about shoring up the middle of your defense. They already have Ndamukong Suh up there playing. He played lights out last year as a rookie. Great defensive tackle. Now they go out and get Nick Fairley, one of their top tackles from Auburn, a really big boy, 6'4", 291. I mean, I could go up.
Yeah,
Mike could go up.
Me and Mike are ready to line up and play D and outside linebacker with those two big D tackles there. Nobody's gonna be blocking us.
Nobody's gonna touch that middle linebacker up there now.
Man.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Suit me up.
And we have Jeff Charleston from the New Orleans Saints on the phone. Jeff Charleston, are you there?
Jeff.
Yeah, I am. How you guys doing?
Jeff, what do you think about that pick, man? Nick Fairley, the big D tackle from Auburn, goes up to join Ndamukong Suh up there in Detroit with the Lions. I mean, the middle of that defense is just, they're humongous now.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge pickup for them. They lucked out by having him fall, and they picked him up at the right time.
What was it like for your draft experience? What exactly was your draft experience like?
Oh, well, I was undrafted, so for most people, the draft is a good experience. For me, it was a bad experience. But I can't really.
You weren't prepared that you might be undrafted. Was it really a bad experience?
I mean, I was, but of course, every guy's dream is to get drafted. And when depending on how you played in college, depending on your pro day, your expectations are, of course, to be drafted. I mean, when the 7th round goes by and you see guys getting picked up, you're like, come on, I'm a lot better than this guy. But, it happens how it does.
Then you just prove it on the field.
Of course.
Now, Jeff, a lot of people don't really know your story. You're in your 5th year. You've had ups and downs. You were in the NFL, out of the NFL, then back in the NFL. Tell the people out there, tell the people your story.
Well, basically started in 06 as an undrafted free agent. Went to Houston. Went through them through training camp, preseason, all that. Got released. Basically had a year off. Worked in the hospital, did construction. Tried to keep myself busy, but also worked out in my spare time. And then Indianapolis basically signed me to the team in 07. Made the team that year. Played the year. Next year got cut. Ended up in New Orleans, and I've been there since.
So, Jeff, what did you feel like was your breakout year? I mean, like you said, you were in Houston, then you got released, didn't play football for a whole year, became a regular guy and just got a regular job, and then you said, you know what, I've been working out, I've been working hard, and the Colts gave you a shot. When did you realize that you would be able to stay in the NFL?
I kind of, once I made it on the Indianapolis roster and went through the whole season, that was, I felt confident enough, but it was, for me, it was a blessing to get cut originally by Houston because it kind of made me a little more hungry. It made me, but it also calmed my nerves because it was like, you know what? I know what it's like at home. I know what it's like when I get cut. Not that big of a deal. It's my dream to play football, and I just, I approached it like that. Calmed my nerves. You kind of go in careless and you just play.
Now, for the people that don't know, so you were. How did, we just had Dwight Freeney we just had Dwight Freeney call in before you called in. What did you learn from the Indianapolis Colts, from going to Indianapolis, playing with those great players, being with that great organization, and obviously learning from a great player like Dwight Freeney?
You learn a lot. You learn, different pass rush moves, coming, especially with John Turling there, just developing your own game, Spin move works for him. Is that going to work for everyone? Not necessarily, but it definitely helps. And, just seeing how those guys approach the game, with Dwight and Mathis, just to see the way they approach it and the way they study the game and how they go about every day, it helps a lot.
What advice would you give to the guys like yourself who are sitting around tonight and over the weekend who didn't play at a Division I program. What advice would you give to them as they prepare to pursue their dreams in the NFL?
Come to work every day. That's pretty much it, because you can't worry about all the other stuff. You can't worry about the guy next to you is better than you, because a lot of times it's just finding the right fit on the right team and getting yourself better.
Now, you weren't with the Indianapolis Colts Super Bowl team, but fortunately you were with the New Orleans Saints and played a great pivotal role in them winning their Super Bowl. How was that feeling? How was it to win a Super Bowl with New Orleans?
It's unspeakable, because I've never felt that great in my life. Just the high that you reach once you win Super Bowl, you can't really prepare for it either. So the high that you reach once you win, you're on top of the world, and you feel that way for, heck, I didn't come down until probably June.
It must be so amazing, especially having won the Super Bowl in New Orleans after what they went through, the whole area went through with Katrina, and then to be able to, in just a short time, bring a Super Bowl home there. That must have made it so much more special. I mean, you could win in New York, you could win in Indianapolis, you could win in all these other places, but to win in New Orleans shortly after something like that, when the people were so devastated, and give them something to really rah-rah and get behind, and especially the season before, having a great season and getting close and getting the fans to know that it's coming, must have been amazing. And you kind of had like a special season too. It seemed like it was destiny the whole year. So how was that, and how much more special was it to be in New Orleans and be able to do that for the fans?
It was definitely amazing. I mean, it really was like a fairy tale, because to have us go 13-0, lose a few games, come back into the playoffs and have home field advantage, and to see that city change. I mean, I lived right downtown in the French Quarter when this whole thing was happening, and I know after we beat Arizona at home, after we beat Minnesota, like, you couldn't even drive. The entire city, all you could hear was Fugett chanting throughout the entire night. And once we won the NFC Championship and finally went to the Super Bowl, they were having a parade no matter what, just because we got there. And I think that really helped a lot of players just be like, oh, you know what? We're going to go ahead and win this. And to see the city change once we came back, and just see the happiness and all that from that city, and experience the parade and everything. Mardi Gras was shortly after that. It was seriously just unbelievable.
What do you do with the ring? Do you wear it?
I usually wear it when I travel. It's definitely a conversation starter. But, especially when you're on the plane or something like that, it's awesome to see people's reactions. There's a lot of people that have, ties to New Orleans, or, they have family down there, and they love to talk about it. So, I love wearing it, because it definitely is a special memory. But, I don't want to just have one ring. I definitely want to have more. So it kind of reminds you too that, of that feeling. And once you win, you want to win more.
Yeah. Speaking of that, a tough way to end the season last year up in Seattle. What do you expect the Saints to do in this year's draft to improve and get back to the Super Bowl?
I'm not really sure. To be honest with you, I'm with my girl right now. We've been watching the Hornets game, so I really haven't been paying attention to that. So maybe I shouldn't be calling me, but I think they're going to take the best player available. Teams are going to, you didn't expect Detroit to take a defensive tackle, but to them that was the best guy that was available for them. So they're going to take the best guy that's available, and they're going to improve where they need to. But there's also 400 guys that are in free agency right now, so who knows what's going to happen with that. And I think for the most part, a lot of the guys that are free agents there that they want back are going to be back down in New Orleans. They have a good program. Guys want to be there. So, they're going to pick who they need to pick.
Now, Jeff, for a guy like you who's from a small school, who obviously brings his hard hat to work with him every day, how has this offseason changed? What's been the difference with the whole lockout situation? How has that changed your offseason regimen?
It definitely, gave a little bit of relief at first, because, it kind of puts that day when you have to be back on hold. But for me, I kind of took my time off soon as the season ended, I went and traveled a little bit, took a little bit of time off, but I got back to training right away. And, you know, I've been here in Phoenix for the last 4 weeks. And, you know, before that I was training on training on my own a little bit. And, you know, so I've been going hard for the last 8 weeks. And, you know, I usually do that every year. So it doesn't really change it a whole lot, but I do think it does change other guys that have been training, because I don't think they're training as hard. And if they are, good for them. If they're not, better for me.
Shout out to the 300. Shout out to PEP, and Danny out there in Scottsdale, Arizona. I know that's who you train with. They do a great job out there of getting guys ready for the NFL and for the season.
Yes, definitely. You know, Ian's been tremendous help to me. You know, I love coming down here because you can not only just train and get bigger, get faster, get stronger, but you also, you know, you can get the soft tissue work that you need to get you healthy. You know, there's a lot of guys that come down here for rehab, but it's not just rehab. You know, it's also just getting in better shape and, you know, getting better for your position, and you know, clearing up those nagging injuries.
And that's something we want to talk about, because there are a lot of players that do work out with their teams. Although you may do the workouts with the teams, you also work out on your own because you work extra hard. All the guys in the NFL aren't like you. And I was telling Mike this earlier. There's guys that either lose too much weight or they gain too much weight when they're away from their respective teams. So what do you think is going to happen when everything does resume back to normal? Are guys going to be ready? Is it going to take them a little longer to get ready? What do you think is going to happen, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're all professional athletes, so, you know, I think that for the most part, you know, the majority of your guys, maybe 60, 70%, are going to be on top of their game. They're not going to be in the same shape as if they were, you know, doing OTAs and stuff. But I think a lot of guys are going to be on top of it. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of guys that haven't been working hard enough, and, you know, and there's going to be a little bit of chaos. There might be more injuries. There might be more issues with weight, and, you know, there's only one way to find out, and that's as soon as this whole lockout's over.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks we really glad to have you on the show, and hopefully you come back and be a guest some other time.
Especially live in studio. That'd be awesome, man. Thank you so much.
You ever been to New York?
I would love it. Thank you, guys.
You ever been to New York, Jeff?
Never have.
See, we need to get him out here.
He's got to make a trip. You got to come in studio, Jeff.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll show you the town, too.
Perfect.
All right, man. Be good. Enjoy the rest of the draft and the Hornets game.